And hello, you lovelies. Let's talk all about Andor Season 2, Episode 5, which is the second block of this second week of episodes. I am so impressed at the Cold War tone this episode was able to get. I know a lot of this show feels so Cold War, but there was something about the wiretapping, the double blind, the espionage, the switching between personalities, the all of it. It felt so interestingly Cold War, and I don't know if it's because I'm dramatically underslept or if the show was just so effective, but I did not see the Cyril double twist coming. I legitimately thought he was starting to believe in the people in his own town that he was staying in, like that Gorham was starting to get to him, and then it seems, you know, the moment of this is the happiest day of my life, being loyal to the Empire and being a spy on spying. Maybe it's a triple blind, but either way, I was hoodwinked. I'm sure if it was intentional or if I missed a line of dialogue. There are plenty of comments in the last video. Speaking of which, please comment on this video. I want to discuss Star Wars with you. I am a very casual Star Wars fan. I love the original trilogy. I like about half of the movies outside the original trilogy. I love Andor Season 1, but overall, I'm coming at this as just like a casual movie and somewhat TV watcher. Haven't read a lot of the lore, so this is really fun for me to get to be a little more casual in my nerddom. This page, deeply nerdy. We do movies, we do TV. I read about 50 to 70 comics a week. Comics are my deep cut nerd stuff, so Star Wars getting to watch as a casual fan, I'm enjoying. If you're into movies, TV, or comics, please hit that subscription bell while you're commenting, while you're pressing like in this video. All right, let's talk Episode 5. I'm so happy that I didn't know a lot about going into the season, because a lot of the imagery of him all like smooth and awesome, I love that that's like a ruse. I really enjoy the being an like a fashion designer going to Gorham as a cover, and I love the Mission Impossible-esque listening to his backstory as a way to infiltrate, like getting his lay of the land, and the way he manipulates that poor guy that's already been through so much. Like, it's not manipulating, like he's not hurt by it, but the way you have to play everyone, you've got to get people's insecurities and get them to be malleable in your hands to get information. We see all that happen in that first interaction in the hotel room, but like him playing that character, it's really cool, just the power of Diego Luna as an actor. But I also find it interesting that Gorham feels like such a tourist town. Like the way they've built it out, like I feel like I've been to Gorham, one, because of how lived in it is, but also the feeling of like building a monument to a massacre in the center of a town and having tourists come in and stay at this hotel, and the conversation of like, you know, the hotel, you're not even half full, and all the little, you know, code word things. But even that felt kind of like when you visit somewhere, and it used to be a lot more popular of like a location to check out. But also his backstory of being a designer that's there because it's like a rite of passage for designers. And then suddenly you cue into all the great wardrobe. It opens up a whole world. And I keep talking about that, how the dialogue just makes everything feel more rich. And the more you care about the characters, the more painful moments hurt. Speaking of which, in another one of the storylines, the Forrest Whitaker storyline, we had that very surprising, like, he's a traitor death moment. And again, I'm very tired. To me, it felt like that guy had not been, but he wasn't actually doing what he needed to do as a job. That little moment of whatever it was planted, and that's how I interpreted it. That they were just trying to recruit this kid, and then that ending moment with the kid breathing in the air on this planet after that crazy speech from a very, very wild man, Forrest Whitaker, all very fascinating. And I talk about sound design a lot. But the sound design of an X-Wing will always get me excited. The sound design of Star Wars, I think, is as much or more than the visuals what causes this feeling of nostalgia and joy and wonder. Like, something about, the Star Wars sound design. So seeing the X-Wings flying, hearing all of that whole experience as we go into this, third episode coming up here in a second, fascinating. Seeing the pressure building on Skarsgård. I mean, he's been under pressure since season 1, but everything that he's going through, with the now looming awareness of the microphone potentially being discovered, like the number of things he's juggling, whether or not he made the decision or he was put under pressure of that decision, that's all really interesting. And we hadn't seen a single moment of Deidre Miro in this episode at all. I thought we would. We touched on that a little in episode 1. I'm really curious what that character storyline ends up being by the time we get to the end of this. Also, the moment, like, the turn the lights off moment, we have 1 hour together with Deidre and Cyril, fascinating. So I want to ask you, the Cyril double blind, to me, I was believing that because his mom was such a piece of crap to him his whole life, the way the Empire treated him, the way all of that, that he was actually starting to go rogue and believe in these people. And they were so impressively charming to me in that first episode on Gorham that I was like, man, he's actually going to be compassionate. But then Deidre and the whole setup there of him being proud to serve the Empire, and that moment where he's even wearing orange as opposed to his usual white and black. She's still in black. Usually that color is a signifier of like the personality and making a statement. But then as soon as he's back in his black or white, it's that same, you know, serving the Empire and sleeping with Deidre, you know, in their room, even though they've only got an hour, and his betrayal, but also like, this is the way it is. It all was so interesting to me because I feel like whether Cyril decides to fully betray them or not, I'm still undecided about. I still believe a small part of him is somewhat compassionate, and I have no reason to, which is really interesting. And then you've got the stakes of this, obviously, being what is Gorham to the Empire? What is this going to be, and how does this relate? It is an actual like mystery box element. I'm fully invested in. What is this endless energy source that they talked about last time we saw Krennic? Like, what is that going to be? Does it relate to the spiders? All of this really interesting to me as someone who, again, doesn't know a lot of the lore, doesn't know what is expected to be known of the viewer. You know, there's so many twists and turns. I don't know if that guy was actually a traitor. He seemed to talk very earnestly about trying to, you know, get this thing to work. He wanted to keep that kid alive. The kid got to live. He didn't. How much of that is the madness of Forrest Whitaker? Please, again, in the comments below. And I will reiterate, this is something that's a very intelligent show. It's very well written, not only in the way it builds out the world, but also in these moments. And I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. So if there's something that's obvious to me, I apologize. Please don't call me stupid. I'm trying to keep up while doing all this and getting out the videos as soon as I can. I'm also really, really curious about, you know, calling Cassian Andor a revolutionary at the end of the episode there, his last little moment of that sequence, and him disappointing these rebels that are trying to, you know, the legend of what he's built out to be, and all of these elements of who the character is. It's also really curious how he sees himself. Like, he had to leave Bix behind. Bix is clearly taking, you know, a drug that is going to have a negative effect, the Skarsgård confrontation, what Luthen is juggling with everything. But, like, that moment is, I think, going to be, you know, a big fallout by the end of maybe even this arc, maybe in this upcoming episode in an hour. But what does that mean to the greater scheme of things? And what does that mean to what the hiccup is going to be at the end of this climax? Because it does seem to be a steady 3-act structure. That first block definitely was. The second block, this feels like inciting incident going into the action in the third block. I will admit, first block of episodes, a little bit more my speed. I don't know if it's because I was like so amped for Andor this whole time, or if it's because I'm so tired right now. I am much more, this second episode caught me more than the first episode. The episode 4, block 2, episode 1 was the first time I was like, oh man, I need to be you know, a little more focused here, a little more awake, just because I'm so tired. But also the first time I was like, okay, I need to hone in on getting all these clues and details. But that is a testament to good writing, that it is mystery box-esque and all these things. So I am now, with this second episode, as things are about to crescendo, a little bit more invested and a little bit more as caught up in the world as I was in that first block. So I'm hoping episode 3, much like the first block, is, you know, all these, or some of these answers coming to a head, and like the way things will reach a peak of action. So let me know what you think in the comments below. What did you think of episode 5 of season 2 of Andor? Are you in the same boat as me, where you thought that Cyril was actually starting to join some sort of rebellion? Is Cassian Andor messing up, or is this just him being a cautious revolutionary? And is everything going to bite Luthen before we get to the point where he can do anything? And what is going on with Forrest Whitaker? So much going on. A lot of moving parts, a lot of different set pieces all moving around, coming to a very interesting spot. And Brasso was the guy's name that I'm trying to figure out in the last review. So, all right, let me know again if you like movies, TV, and me usually much more awake. Please hit that subscription bell, leave a like, and I'll see you in an hour for the big finale of this block of episodes of Andor Season 2, probably up in about an hour. All right, much love. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.